suppose I shouldn't feel too annoyed that the ninja has to go through a castle infiltration mission. While none of these missions is great, at least Hanzo's were more memorable than most of the others. So, the pre-mission text isn't going to tell us the cunning ploy that Kunoichi devised. Guess we're just gonna have to wait to hear it from her once we get started. So our final opponent in this castle is gonna be Mitsuhide for some reason. I'm pretty sure we're gonna run into more than just him as we rush our way through this place. That's how these castle infiltrations usually go, after all. And this place is pretty big, so there's no way it's completely abandoned. Still, got to admit, I kinda like our plan. My only complaint is that this is the only campaign that gives us a satisfactory explanation for Mitsuhide to backstab Nobunaga. Not Mitsuhide's own campaign, not Ranmaru's or Nobunaga's, but Kunoichi. The girl who is completely unrelated to all of that drama. And because this mission, with an actually important plot point, needed to get even more random, we're throwing Goemon into this mess as well. I'm sorry, but there had to be better ways to execute this. And we could have used this kind of explanation for Mitsuhide going traitor earlier in the game. I don't know who's more at fault, the guys who wrote the story or the guys who designed the mission structure for the campaigns. After all, some characters deserve more missions to tell their stories, and some don't need 5 to tell the simple tale they've got to tell. So forcing everyone to have 5 selectable missions just doesn't feel like it works for me in this first installment of the series. But then, who am I to say what does and doesn't work in a game like this? After all, I keep forgetting the layout of these castles, despite the sheer number of times we've been to them in this single playthrough. You'd think that repeating the same castles over and over again would burn them into my memory better. Am I the only one vaguely annoyed that Kunoichi isn't even commenting on the fact that we're now dealing with the same kind of numbers per floor that we normally would in this castle, despite the fact that she claimed Mitsuhide was the only one here? And I would damn well think that the oldest son of Nobunaga himself is not someone to be ignored. But this series, at best, just shoves his name on the occasional generic officer and never even mentions his connection with the very prominent character. And now we're stumbling on Ranmaru, and no, despite the fact that Kunoichi's plan is actually a pretty good idea, it doesn't feel like she did as much scouting of the castle as she implied when we started this mission. Also, not sure if I should laugh at the implied sexual encounter between these two, because while Nobunaga probably spent more time with Ranmaru in history, I wouldn't be surprised if his wife played around with him too. Though, considering this version of No is the kind of woman who would kill the man she loves so nobody else has the pleasure of killing him, well, I'm not too sure I want to know what she would want to do to her husband's young male lover. Again, not that this game even mentions all of Ranmaru's duties when it comes to Nobunaga. They just make him a bodyguard that happens to look pretty girly. And that does it for the lady as well. I'm not sure if I'm pleased or disappointed that Kunoichi isn't bothering to try to be as subtle as Hanzo was in that one mission where he had to gather intel by overhearing people in the castle. A castle I'm suddenly worried we're going to be revisiting before this campaign is done. Right. Why am I not surprised that the special ninja paths in these castles don't actually mean much of anything? Because apparently giving ninjas a legitimate shortcut when there are so few ninjas in the game would be giving them too much attention or something in these castles. Ugh. Not too sure why they put Toshie as the guard for this floor, especially since he won't be his own character in this series for a while yet. But I suppose if you absolutely have to throw down an officer to slow the player down, a generic officer isn't that terrible a choice. I just can't help thinking the gate should have opened after we beat Ranmaru and No in an earlier room. Is it wrong that I don't even want to bother researching this guy's name? I'm not too sure what you're trying to teach, considering the reason why you came to this castle in the first place. Especially since you came here just to trick one man who happens to be at the very top. You know, just once, I'd like one of these castle infiltration missions to end before we get to the final floor of a given castle, just to change things up a little. Not that mission variety seems to be something that the game designers really had too many ideas for here. Oh, what a surprise. Hanzo appears on a floor where we saw some enemy ninjas. Seriously, for being Ieyasu's shadow, he seems to go plenty of places his lord doesn't. Well, at the very least, Hanzo took longer to take down in this mission than the previous one. I suppose that means he's getting more challenging as the campaign continues. Though for some reason, I was expecting more of a sense of rivalry between the two. I suppose Shingen and Kenshin are the only ones in this game allowed to have that style of rivalry. Well, Kunoichi, you're not that good at pulling off a vengeful girl. Though maybe I've just seen way too many very angry, vengeful characters over the years. And now I'm very glad that the Samurai Warriors guys didn't decide to throw in Sarutobi Sasuke like the Sengoku Basara series did. Just the name gives me an unpleasant twitch, which makes me worried for if and when I finally decide to LP any Naruto games. I should not dislike a character so much that anyone who shares his name is automatically fighting an uphill battle to be a likable one to me. Right, now that we've beaten Mitsuhide into submission, work your magic here, Konoichi. Show me how you managed to make this samurai decide to betray his lord. Not that there's much you could do to make my opinion of Mitsuhide go any lower than it already is. Can't help thinking we didn't need Mitsuhide's defeat cutscene, and that the victory bit should have happened after this cutscene.
意味ないよ。全部あいつのせい。信長のせいなんだから。
Okay, girl, you've got me laughing, and him eating every word with ease. Though you'd think he'd have gotten suspicious with the way you jumped out while you were supposedly overcome with emotion.
私は信長様のことも。
ありゃりゃ、意外にあっさり。
Yeah, the guy never really screamed loyal servant to me. You picked your targets well to disrupt the Oda. Shame you can't pull the same thing on the Tokugawa.